to the Hallmarkies podcast. We are so excited today to be here. We have a very special interview that we are doing with one of our favorite Hallmark actresses. We're talking with Sandy Sidhu.
Hello. Hi.
And I am Rachel, and Amber's here.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, and Sandy, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What's the best hello reaction you've had from anyone in your podcast?
The best hello.
I mean, honestly, probably you. No,
Oh, that's amazing. No one's thrown out a different language like bonjour. And
no.
you're like, oh no, are we doing this podcast in a different language? No one's done anything like that. Okay.
Paul Campbell was one of our favorites because he was, I think, our second interview, and he was sort of teasing Amber, which was fun because he knew that was a fun one. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. So we like to ask all of our guests to introduce themselves and to share with us what inspired you to get into acting.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, sorry, what was the first question?
Just introduce yourself.
Oh, introduce myself. Oh my gosh. Right. That. So my name's Sandy Sidhu. I'm a Canadian actress that's been raised on the west coast of Canada, in a city. I live in a city called Vancouver, which I'm sure most people are familiar with. What got me into acting? I have been artistic my whole life. I've been drawing ever since I was a kid. My mom said when I was 3, I started picking up pencils and crayons and destroyed her house. I feel so bad about that. Now that I have nieces and nephews around me, I know the pain that my mom went through. It took me a while to get into acting, but I've been artistic my entire life, and it was always kind of my outlet. And then in high school, I was incredibly shy, like almost debilitatingly shy. And one of my best friends told me to join theater, kind of just to get me outside of my comfort zone. And at that time, I was one of the top art students in my school. I was really big into painting and drawing, and Sailor Moon was this cartoon that was really big back in the day. Yeah, and it was a very big influence in my artistic kind of preferences. But I'd never done anything in terms of theater or, showcasing myself. It's always been pencil art, sketch art, painting art, that sort of thing. I don't think anyone's described art like that before, but I was 14 and I did my first ever production of something called, I'm sure everyone's familiar with. I'm acting like nobody has ever heard of anything theatrical. I did West Side Story, and I joined super late.
That small film, that
small production, it's a few people have seen it, yeah. But we joined really, really late. Everything had already been cast, and the theater director was so kind. He cast us not as like an extra, because extras had already been cast. Literally, this is no joke. My position was extra Puerto Rican girl production. And we were over the moon. We couldn't believe that we made the cut, which is really funny. And I just remember my first experience being on stage. And it was obviously in front of a live audience. And I remember my only job the entire production, other than being in the back singing the chorus, was I got one moment to walk from stage right at the back to the front of stage left. And I remember when I did that and I looked out into the audience, I was electrified. It was one of the most incredible feelings I'd ever experienced in my life. And I'm like, what is this? And
it was your major cross. It was your big moment.
Literally, that cross is still one of the most special moments I have in my career, which is pretty funny because it was just a walk across the stage. I didn't even have a line, or I wasn't even a focus of anything. And that's kind of what created the bug. But at the same time, I still didn't know what to do with acting. It was just kind of a passion. And then eventually I went to university and I had to quit theater because it was really demanding. I was in a science program. I thought I wanted to be a doctor, actually, because my mom's a nurse. And I never thought the arts was anything I was going to pursue as a career. But I kind of got depressed and I didn't know why. And then, long story short, I kind of had this epiphany that the arts was actually something I was supposed to do as a career, not as a passion. And when that flip switched, I kind of never looked back. So that's how I got into it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was, I'm the only one in my family that's ever pursued anything like this. So it wasn't intuitive for me. It was very confusing. I was like, it wasn't normal. I come from a really small town off the coast of Vancouver, on a city called Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. And so people didn't really do anything like that in my friend group. So it took me a really long time to catch up with my own heart, I think. So, and it was terrifying. Oh my God, it was terrifying. For the first few years, I never called myself an actor. I was like, I'm just doing this thing because it was, it was, there's a lot of fear and judgment around pursuing something that's atypical. And so
like a waitress / actress on the side to start or something like that.
Well, I did it through school. I finished my degree. That was kind of the dealio for myself, actually, because I never like to quit anything. But yeah, I mean, the stereotypes are all there because it's the acting is all, it's difficult. There's a lot of lean years when you're first starting out. Well, not necessarily. Some people the thing about acting is there's no rules. Like you'll have someone will literally be like, it was my first audition and now I'm Jennifer Lawrence. But, and that's great. Everyone has their own path.
To ask, I'm a huge animation fan. And so which of the Sailor Moon girls is your favorite?
I was always very partial to Sailor Mars.
Oh,
and Serena. And Luna. Yeah, I was a big Sailor Moon dork. Huge. Like I was the type of girl that had the Sailor Moon bedspread. I've never admitted that in my life. I've never admitted that in my life. Yeah, it was pretty major. Like I was really easy to shop for. My aunts and all my relatives, they all knew what to get me.
That's really cool. Yeah, I really like the Sailor Moon.
What was yours? Who was your favorite sailor?
I don't know. I like Mercury quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think she's probably my favorite.
The introspective sailor.
Right. But they're all really great. I'm really excited because they're going to have the R&S movies. They're going to be airing them in I think the end of July on the big screen. So
wow.
The Sailor Moon on the big screen.
That's great.
Yeah, because they did it last year, just Sailor Moon R, and I missed it, and so now I get to see both of them. I wish they were doing the whole series, the whole trilogy, but it was 3 hours. I understand why they aren't.
That's really cool. It's interesting. I look back and I'm like, it's cool. It's great that I loved a show that was so female empowered. It was women saving the day. I was like, well done, Sandy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really is. And it's not like they keep the characters fairly innocent, I think. They're not like, I don't know, sexualized or they're just like really positive and fun and I know, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, they had strong morals and values, and I always like those shows that kind of trigger just integrity in situations in life. And kind of instill those values, which is why I guess we all watch those kind of shows.
Yeah, also love musical theater, so we've got all kinds of connections, and I was just curious, what are some of your favorites that you've either seen or been in, or is that something that you
in musical theater specifically?
Yeah, for musical theater,
yeah. I love musical theater. It's such an exhilarating experience to be a part of it. I had the opportunity to see Hamilton live in San Francisco. And that blew me away. Yeah. I was in tears at the end of that show. I completely understood why people have lost their minds.
I saw it this year as well. Here in Utah, the touring company, and I agree. I thought, is it really going to live up to the hype?
Yeah.
But it did.
It did, yeah. It was so. It made me actually want to be on stage again for musical theater. It had that effect. I could see any kids watching that show, they just inspired a whole generation to get into musical theater, because it was the acting, the dancing, the singing, the storytelling. There was nothing that was stronger than the other in that production. It was, they were all masters at what they did. And I was just, and the story itself of Hamilton and the way that they told it, it was breathtaking.
Yeah.
I feel so lucky to have seen it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had just enough of sort of the hip hop style for it to be novel and fun and enough of the Broadway sound to still feel like a Broadway show.
Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah. So I'd say that one really, it's one of the most incredible performances I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. In high school, I ended up doing Bye Bye Birdie. Yeah.
My sister did that, actually.
It's a fun one. It's a really good one.
I feel like they do Bye Bye Birdie like once every 5 years.
Everybody
just does it.
That's so true. Oh my God. That's hilarious. That's exactly what my high school did. That's funny.
It's such a smart one for high schoolers to do because it has tons of teens in it. And like, I think for high school, you want to have shows that have like as many, you want to have as many
girl parts as possible.
Well, girl parts as possible, and also just like group scenes as possible, because you want just as many people to be able to participate as possible. And like my sister in her high school, they did Into the Woods, which is a great show, but it really doesn't, like the cast is more limited, so that just limits the number of people that can participate, and that's not as fun.
It's true. Yeah, I never thought about it like that. That's
when our high school did Into the Woods, after I had left, our drama teacher added like every other fairy tale characters that she could think of in like just the background as chorus. So like,
oh, that's good.
There were like a bunch of people who were like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and like
they did wow, that's an ambitious
I know, it's very
we're a very ambitious high school and junior high.
I can tell.
We did Les Mis in junior high.
Wow.
And we did, my senior year, we did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
That's a fun one.
And we had over 100 kids in our production.
Wow. Your theater director clearly, this is their jam.
Yeah. We, and I'm so jealous.
That's so good.
They redid our high school, and the like auditorium now is amazing.
Don't you hate that when you leave and then they dance it up right after you go?
Yeah, and like the theater,
and you're like, "Are you serious?"
They have now like an entire underneath of the stage where they can like elevator up extra sets, and like our backstage was like 5 feet back when I was there, so now they have like so much more sets, and it's ridiculous. But
that's great.
So
I love it. I love it when now in these like that they're still continuing to invest in the arts and not actually cut funding. Because I feel like every time I open up a news article, they're cutting funding to the arts in high schools. So it's good to hear that.
Yeah, I think musical theater, especially in Utah, is a really big deal.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Right? Would you say, Rachel?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I didn't grow up here, so my high school experience was different. But yeah, it's really unique here in Utah because just from when Brigham Young first settled here, one of the first buildings they actually built was a theater. And and we have Tabernacle Choir, we have a legacy of performing as part of dance, music, theater, and like in the town that I grew up in Maryland, it was a pretty big, it was like 30,000 people or whatever in the greater area that I lived, and we had one local theater that was that people could go to or whatever. Here there's like so many live theaters. It's amazing, and they're all super, for the most part they're all pretty high quality, and it's just a really great place to live if you want to be into that kind of thing.
Love that they develop the arts culture there so strongly. That's really great.
And we have more national parks than any other state, so
Okay, it sounds like Utah's got it figured out. Preserving nature, keeping up with the arts, like these are all things we want in a society.
But like the Great Salt Lake is smelly. Just
right. So it's all these pros to offset the con of the smell.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not pervasive. It's just fairly.
And I guess people don't realize we had a whole conversation about the lake prior to this interview starting. They're like, why are they so judgy on the smell of the lake so quickly?
I feel like it's something that just needs to be mentioned, because if you're prepared for it, it's not that bad. But I just know there are people who were like, went to the Great Salt Lake and they were just so disappointed because of that. Like, I just want you to know.
Also, you have to get used to like family friendly life, because like here, I swear, like everything closes down at like 10:30. You're like,
oh, that's like Vancouver. Yeah, that's like Vancouver too. I mean, you try to go into a restaurant, it's like 9:45, and they're like, we just closed 10 minutes ago. You're like, what?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not Vegas.
no, but that's why Vegas is Vegas, right? So
yeah. That's really cool.
Very hoping someday that Hallmark will do a musical.
Oh yeah, that would be so much fun.
It would be so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, technically they did Dear Dumb Diary, but that doesn't count.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
I mean, it was a kid's show.
Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm. I'm glad I said that.
So your first role for Hallmark was in the All of My Heart sequel, is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Yeah.
So what was that? What's that like?
Oh, it was a quick time on set with me. I had a scene with Lacey Chabert, who's so sweet. She's one of the nicest people in film. I've actually worked with a lot of great, kind, talented people. She's one of them. So warm, so professional, so considerate, so normal. You know, she's just she's wonderful. And actually, we had already met prior to in LA. We were both auditioning for the same part, and we remembered each other. So it was really funny when I came on set. I was like, Lacey, we've met. She's like, oh my God, we totally have. So that was that was a quick day on set. It was kind of my intro into Hallmark land. Yeah, but it was really nice. Lacey is a dream to work with, even though it was such a quick shoot with her. It was really, really great. She makes the day really, really fun.
That's what we've heard from everyone who's worked with her.
She's so nice. So nice. Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of a thing with the Hallmark. Like, if you have to be nice, otherwise they won't work with you.
Well, you just hope that you work with people, and generally you do. I mean, the film industry, funny enough, kind of has this reputation of working with crazy people sometimes, but it's really not that common to work with people that you don't enjoy working with. For the most part, people are professional, even if you don't say form a connection or authentic friendship, which is, that's something you can't control. But for the most part, it's people in the film industry are generally pretty great to work with.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, that's great. That's what we like to hear, especially about we call them the queens of Hallmark. That's what we like to hear about our queens. We don't want the royalty to get to their heads.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Lacey's definitely not one of those people.
That's good. So then you had more of a part in Frozen in Love.
Yeah, I played Rachel Lee Cook's best friend in Frozen in Love. I played a publicist, and that was actually one of the best filming experiences I've ever had. Yeah. Working with Niall Mater and Rachel, it was actually just so special to me, and the director Scott Smith and all the producers. It was special. I told them it was reminiscent of my high school experience of my first production, which I just told you was one of the most special experiences I've ever had. Frozen in Love kind of had that same nostalgic, really special experience for me. It was wonderful. And Rachel, like Lacey, is just one of the most down-to-earth human beings you'll ever meet. She is so considerate. She's so curious about every crew member, every person on set. She's so special to work with. And, considering how successful she is and how grounded she is, it was so nice to see that and to work with her. And she's a friend, and she's wonderful.
Was she a producer in that movie?
She was, yeah. It was her concept. She came up with the movie, which is why I was so grateful to be a part of it. She had always wanted to make this this sports movie about love, you know, and have a woman who was shy and worked in a bookstore, and then brought in the theme of sports with Niles. So she had that movie tinkering around in her brain for a while. So it was really something special to her to have that brought to fruition and to be able to actually see it on screen for her. I know it was really special for her.
That's really cool. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved working on that film.
I like there was a little chemistry between your character and Madison Smith's character, Tyler.
You know,
and I wish there had been more of that.
People keep saying that, and we didn't realize it at the time. And then one of my best friends watched the movie, and she's like, oh, I'm so mad that nothing happened between you and Madison. I was like, you're not the first person to say that. It was an unexpected thing that wasn't planned for in the movie that I ended up, I was like, well, there's a Frozen in Love too.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
But really, if there's a Frozen in Love too, it better be all about you and Madison falling in love. That's all I'm saying.
That would be pretty fun. That would be pretty fun. Yeah. Madison was great too. It was that whole production was very, very special. It was actually one of the few Hallmark Christmas movies that was actually shot during the winter time. So I think that's why it had that really special, I mean, on top of the fact that we're working with really great people, but it had that really nostalgic feeling because we were literally shooting it in the winter, and we shot the winter outdoor scenes in a snow town called Revelstoke, way up north BC. And so we didn't have to really use a lot of our imagination, except actually, funny story, there was no snow the day we tried to shoot the snow, so they had to create snow in the snow town. I felt really bad for the producers.
Yeah, but
they know how to make fake snow. That's their.
They got it down. But this one thing I liked about all the Winterfest movies is that they all felt like cold, and they all felt there was just like a sense of place. It's like
Hallmark. Absolutely, Hallmark does that really well. They really know how to establish a sense of place.
Yeah, it's like shoot more at Whistler. It works, or whatever.
Yeah. The set design, the locations in Hallmark are just as important in the stories as the story themselves. And they really do in every single movie an incredible job of creating a real life and character to the landscape of every movie.
Yeah, sometimes they reuse stuff. So we like to joke that there's like a Hallmark cinematic universe.
I can see that. Yeah,
the same gazebo is or like the same. We even found there was a pair of earrings that were in multiple Countdown to Christmas episodes.
So funny.
These snowflake earrings, and there were a couple other little things like that we were like, that
is hilarious.
It's pretty funny. We're like, yeah. But anyway, it was fun. And so you were in this most recent with the Wedding March movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not even lying. This is not hyperbole just because we're interviewing you, but you and Andrew Walker were my favorite things about that movie.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really amazing to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, because every time you were on screen, you were just positive and fun, and and I mean, you just brought some energy and some life to what is not our favorite franchise. We're not gonna lie.
Okay, yeah. So great that you tuned in to watch then, despite the fact that it's not your preferred favorite.
We're supportive, and we always want it to be better. Like we just, we want to like it.
Yeah. Oh.
We want to like it more. We want.
Yeah. I'm just so curious. What is your favorite franchise?
Probably the Darrow and Darrow is.
Oh yeah.
Or Signed Still Delivered. I mean, it's tough to compete.
Do you know
those.
that? Here's a little fun trivia fact. Crystal Lowe is my closest best friend in life.
Oh no,
really?
We did not know that. We love her.
Yeah, Rita. She is. She's like family to me. She's one of my best friends.
Well, feel free.
And
to
I was
tell
actually there the day she found out. The moment she found out, she booked the role.
No way.
Yeah, she was with me.
Oh my gosh. Well, feel free to tell her.
I'm just imagining how much fun that was.
It was, you know what? You're right. It actually was so much fun. We actually jumped up and down screaming.
Well, feel free to tell her about the podcast.
I will. I will.
You know, a good word for us. But no, I mean, we try to watch everything, and it's always fun, even if it's not like our favorite. We still enjoy it, but I thought you were a real standout in it, and I liked your chemistry with Merritt Patterson. Was that fun to work with her?
Oh yeah, she's so funny. She's awesome. She's just like the character you see on screen. You know, she's really. It's funny. She's kind of I wouldn't call her a tomboy, but she's really cool. Merritt's really, really cool. Like, she's really sassy and fun, and it was easy working with her.
So I have to ask. So there was the 2 wedding dresses.
Yes.
There was the one that she picked first.
Absolutely.
Originally, and then the new dress. Did you like the new dress?
No. No, but you know, being a supportive best friend, you just want to see her happy, and I think Lena just wanted to see Abby really happy. So it's that. I mean, weddings are so high emotion in life, and so you just want to know that despite your personal preferences, if the bride is happy, then you just kind of hold your tongue as best as you can, and just, you know, try to offer as much clarity and understanding so that they can make the best informed decision despite your feelings. But yeah, her original dress was definitely so much more suited to her personality.
I mean, we agree.
Yeah.
Like it was so odd. It looked like a swimsuit on top to me.
That's so funny.
I didn't like it, but or like, good choice, Merritt. Good choice picking the right dress.
Yeah.
And
the funny thing is like, my sister just got married, and it was I kept joking on set at the time with everyone. The on-set joke was that, so Lena, the best friend in the movie, and it wasn't said in the film, but it was written by the writers, that she's an actress who's a maid of honor in this movie. And in real life at that time, I'm an actress, and I was maid of honor to my sister's wedding that was coming up, I think, a week after that movie wrapped. So it was so real time for me filming this movie, and the emotions of a real wedding. And the stakes are super high, and all these little decisions that you make and the self-doubt, those were all really accurate. So it was easy for me to kind of jump into the reality of what would be going on in those moments leading up very closely to the big day.
Yeah. Well, and she just needed somebody to kind of be her advocate and reminder, like, because she was giving into all these suggestions from the sister-in-law, and she needed somebody to be like, what do you want? What do you like?
Yeah, exactly. And self-doubt is so common in moments of our lives, regardless of what situations they may be. And it is really hard sometimes to kind of have proper perspective when something means a lot to you and you aren't quite sure of your place. And for someone like Abby, she's a fish out of water. She's injected into this landscape of this extreme wealth that she just is so unfamiliar with, and she just wants to make a really good impression. So, you know, things that you're really certain on at one moment can kind of get thrown for a loop when you're just trying to get perspective again, you know. So that's where I come in.
Yeah.
And it is so much fun for me to play those roles. It is so much fun. I had a great time. And the director, Peter DeLuise, he was a riot to work with. He's one of the funniest directors I've ever worked with. He had me laughing all day.
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, I can't imagine how he wouldn't be.
Oh gosh. He is so funny. He is so funny. Yeah.
Well, he makes some of the best Hallmark movies. He's
so talented. Yeah. He shows up every day so dedicated, so focused, and yet so lighthearted at the same time, which is the best environment to be in. And Scott Smith actually had that kind of energy too. He was really just so kind and generous every day in Frozen in Love. And those environments are really important as an actor. Kind of helps you to thrive. And the one thing Peter said to me is, you know, have that freedom to express however you want to on this film. And I was like, really? Okay. And so Lena's energy really got to come out thanks to Peter.
Yeah. So were you in any scenes? You were in scenes with Andrew Walker, right?
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah.
Trying to remember. What is it would like to work with him?
Oh, so great. Day one, we found out that he actually owns a juice store in LA. And I go back and forth to LA, and the last time I was there, the very last store that I went to was his juice store. And that was really funny. I was like, oh my God, I've been to your store. He is such, he's so talented. I don't know what to say about Andrew. He's got his hands in so many little different pockets in life. He's so inspired. He's so on the go. He's got this incredible family. He was on his way to filming the next Hallmark movie that he produced. Andrew is incredibly inspiring to work with. And we had a great time. I have nothing but great things to say about Andrew. He's awesome.
We like to call him the king of Hallmark.
Oh, really?
Well,
I did not know this.
I mean, he's earned it, but
so
Paul Campbell is still the king of my heart.
I'll have to call him king of Hallmark.
Yeah, him and Paul Campbell are the king of Hallmark.
And you have worked with Paul Campbell on Pregoland, so
yes, I have. Yeah.
So it all comes back to Paul Campbell.
Yeah, I haven't seen Paul in a long time, but the Canadian film industry is really small, so I'm sure I'll be bound to run into him at some point or another. But yeah, Pregoland was such a great time as well.
If you really want, we could send you a picture with Paul Campbell's face on it. I mean,
oh my gosh,
with Paul Campbell's face on it.
I suspect this means that you have a wee crush on Paul Campbell. Is this correct?
Pretty much.
It's not like a crush. It's just like he's my favorite person.
Yeah. He's a really gentle person. He's really quiet on set when you work with him. He doesn't really ask for a lot of attention. He's really just really, I don't know. He's a very, I don't think any man wants to be called a gentle soul, but he is like, he's very secure in himself, and he just doesn't cry for a lot of attention. On working with him on Pregoland was really nice. Every time I was around him, I just felt calmer because I'm very high energy.
Yeah, Pregoland was a good movie, but I don't know how Hallmarky it is, but I really liked it.
Oh yeah, it's got its own spunk, its own kind of tone to it. Yeah, it's definitely not Hallmark, but it was
so
getting knocked off.
Hallmark people, you'll love it, but I loved it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, well, that's fun. Yeah, we just really, he was one of our first interviewees as well. So he'll always have a special place in our heart.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes. Paul Campbell, you mean?
Yeah, Paul Campbell, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then we also did just get to interview Andrew Walker too. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's great.
That's really good. Yeah.
That man is so busy. He's so busy.
I know. Yeah, I know. I mean, everybody, it's amazing. I mean, they make I don't know, just how fast they make these movies, and it's pretty impressive. We like to do just close off an interviews with some silly questions.
Sure.
If you have a minute, that I don't know, we call them the teen beat questions, which are just sort of fun, silly, get to know you a little bit better questions.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All right. And I'm in charge of those because Rachel's in charge of all the fancy questions.
What you're saying is you're in charge of watching the door to make sure your cat doesn't come back.
Yeah. Stay out. Okay. So the first question is, what is the best ice cream flavor?
Ooh, these are good questions. I would have to say it's bubblegum.
We haven't had a bubblegum person yet.
Yeah, that's very fun.
It is very fun.
Or classic vanilla. Or classic vanilla.
Nah, stick with bubblegum. It's way more exciting.
Yeah.
All right. And then what is your favorite color?
Red.
Okay.
Very on brand.
What did you say, Rachel?
On brand, en route to the Christmas Hallmark movie.
I said it's very on brand.
And then what music are you listening to these days? Like, what are you really into?
I listen to everything. I'm a mishmash music person. Right now, I'm actually just listening to Spotify female jazz compilation right now.
Oh,
cool!
And then I'll throw in Drake. So,
and then Drake.
So I'm the utter mishmash of music preferences.
But I like that. That's how I am. So we're best friends as far as music goes.
Awesome.
And then what is your go-to date night food?
Ooh, so many great questions. I just have to say, really, this is going to sound so funny. Really, really good gourmet pizza.
Oh, that's that. No one said that before, but that's the right answer.
Brussels sprouts.
Oh, I don't know about Brussels, but
Brussels sprouts really well done, and then a tossed salad.
Oh, right. Do you like it with a real thin crust, like in
yes.
the oven?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you come to Utah, there is this place called Cecilia Pizza.
That sounds like I'm already going to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
That's where you should go if you ever come to Utah, because they Hallmark films in Utah sometimes. It's a place where people film, or maybe you'll do an independent film that goes to Sundance,
Yeah, totally. No, that's the thing about the film industry. You literally don't know where you're going to be.
But yeah, downtown Salt Lake, Cecilia Pizza Kitchen. It's
good to know.
Amazing.
Yeah,
very fancy too.
We were talking to Fiona Gubelman, and she said that she literally got the call, and she's like on a plane to Ireland before she knew it. Just like the next day.
Yeah, I had a friend who I have a friend who just shot a Hallmark movie in Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so you never know. You could either be Ireland or Utah.
Exactly. Both sound good to me, to be honest. Honestly, with what I've learned about Utah in this conversation, I'm so down.
I didn't realize this was going to become a travelogue for Utah.
Well, it has. 100% it has. It's unfortunate that the whole conversation before the interview wasn't actually taped.
Well,
people would have learned a lot about Utah.
Okay, and then the next one is go-to date night activity.
Oh, I really love bowling.
Oh, you're so great.
I really love bowling. That's such a fun activity.
Are you a great bowler?
I'm horrible. Actually, I'm depending on the day. It's usually if I were to go bowling, this never happens, but say I go bowling like 5 times in a row, it'll be like horrible, horrible, horrible. I beat everyone. Horrible.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know what you're going to get.
Do you know what your high score is? Time?
No, I don't. I have really bad. The thing about me is I have an exceptionally bad memory. I've just always been like that. I have to journal everything, or I just forget. It's really good because I have really incredible relationships with people because I forget if someone's hurt me. I remember one time I saw someone. I was like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And a friend of mine's like, "That person really hurt you." I'm like, "Oh, I totally forgot." So
you don't hold a grudge. You just also don't.
I don't hold a grudge. Yeah, I don't hold a grudge, but I can't remember where my keys are.
But holding a grudge is way more damaging than not being able to find your keys. So you're good. You're good.
Right. Yeah, that whole thing about let go and forgive is I don't have a choice. It just happens. Yeah.
All right. And then the next question, dogs or cats?
Oh my gosh. It's so, I'm sorry. The answer for me is so 50-50. I love dogs, but I also grew up and I had a cat. I totally understand the dog argument. I totally understand the cat argument. I love both 100%. I can't, I cannot say one or the other.
That's a very judicious response. I can't
It would be a
fault it at all.
crime. It would be a crime if I said I preferred one over the other. It'd be a lie. It would be a blatant lie. I understand. Like, the thing about dogs is, if we're going to break it down, dogs just are like perpetual love. Like, I actually have a theory that if you are a perfect human in life, and if you believe in that Buddhist mentality and you reach nirvana and you are like this incredible soul on this planet, your gift is you come back as a dog, ideally as like a golden retriever in a middle class home. Like, I think that is like the epitome of like a joyous life, is like a dog. So I think that they are actually like the highest species on this earth, because they are just like pure love. The thing about cats is that you have to earn their love, which is so rewarding, you know, like like my cat was an asshole. Can I say that? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But he was so like, why are you being so needy right now? But if I was feeling down, he'd come up and be like, you're not in a good mood, are you? Fine. Here, I'll let you pet me. Like, he was so, I loved my relationship with my cat. And he always acted like he didn't need our love or attention, but he'd always be within eye shot. Like, he'd be like, I don't need you guys ever. I don't need you humans. But he'll always be within eye shot of like our vicinity. Like, he'd always need to see us. And I'm like, you love us. You don't even know that you do, but you love us so much. And he'd always come at night and like curl into bed. So there's something really rewarding about a cat's affection, you know. So
yeah, like you've like when a cat likes you, you're like, well, basically, I'm the best at this.
Exactly.
If a dog likes you, you're like, well, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. With a dog, you're like, don't you have any self-respect? You love everybody. So yeah, I think both animals are great.
Yeah.
All right, we'll let it slide.
All right, and then the next question is beaches or mountains?
Well, Vancouver has beaches and mountains. I'd say beaches.
Excellent. That's Rachel's opinion. So
good choice. There's nothing I love more than going to the beach.
Yeah.
Even more than Hallmark.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm an island child. I grew up going to the beaches, so I'm totally.
Yeah.
I always need to live near the water.
Yeah, I miss it. I miss the ocean. I mean, we have lakes here, which are good, but I miss the ocean.
Not the Great Salt Lake, the other ones.
Yeah.
Other lakes, yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
You can actually swim in without being in pain.
Yeah.
The thing about the Great Salt Lake, though, is because it has such a high level of salinity, it's way easier to float.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it does. You do float. That's true.
And then the next one, fancy ball gown or sweats?
Oh my God, 100% sweats.
Yeah, it's I mean, fancy ball gown, fine, I guess, but sweats all the way. That's the answer.
I'm the person where if I have to go upscale, I will throw it on literally a minute before I have to leave. It is my last priority.
Yeah.
It is my last. I don't know why. I think it's because I grew up. The one really great thing about growing up in Indian culture is we're really big into bold colors and dresses and decor. And since I was a kid, I've gone to hundreds of Indian weddings, and we get dressed up to the nines. So I'm kind of, I guess, spoiled because I grew up being like, poo-pooing it all. I'd be like, no, mama, I don't want to go in this extravagant dress to the wedding again. You know, but really it's the amount of detail and decoration, it's astounding. So it's one really incredible thing about our culture is we do know how to dress up. So I kind of am, I guess, it's my spoiled sense of myself where I'm like, I don't wanna, you know.
This is totally random, but have you seen the Bahubali movies?
No, I haven't.
You got to see them. They're totally wackadoodle insane.
What are they?
They're actually Tollywood, I guess. They're not Bollywood, but they're Tollywood. Movies that I got into last year. They came out with Bahubali 2 last year.
Oh, fun. Have incredible costumes and
oh my gosh,
dresses and saris. Yeah.
So there's it's basically like the son of this king who is then like, it's kind of like he's kind of like Moses out of there, and then there's this this half brother who takes the throne, and then he has to come back and save.
That sounds like every Bollywood movie I've watched.
And there's this there's like romance, and there's these amazing songs, and like all the action is super over the top and bloody and ridiculous. But it was
that's the best thing about Bollywood films. They are so passionate, and they're so they're just so bold. You know, they have, and the storylines are always so dramatic like that. Breaking the song, they're so much fun. So here's a really cool thing about Bollywood films. The reason that they're so long is because, you know, when you are in the Indian families are really big households typically.
Yeah.
Lots of people running around, lots of kids running around. It's loving chaos all the time in a big Indian household. So there's a lot of distractions. So Bollywood movies are really big because you need to be able to grab your kid, make dinner, clean, organize all the stuff, and then still tune into the movie and be like, what's happening now? And still have it be entertaining. Isn't that neat?
Yeah. Bahubali 2 is over 3 hours, and I was completely entranced the entire time. It was so entertaining. It was so over the top, and like there's so many movies from
I love Bollywood films.
There's so many movies from America that are just like, they're spectacle, but they all look the same and they all feel the same. And so this was just like, oh, now they're gonna burst into song, and now they're like fighting, and there's like someone losing their head, and it was like so fun. It was so entertaining to me. It was just like
I love that you just said, and then someone just lost their head, and it was so entertaining. As we're doing a Hallmark podcast. This is
and there's this guy named Prabhas. I'm probably saying his name, Prabhas, that was so great as Bahubali. He like comes back to avenge the throne against his evil brother and half brother, and so it's kind of Lion King-y too, and it was great. And there's this scene where like the mother like holds the baby up to like the gods. It was so.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, you definitely have to. The first one, the story makes almost no sense, but I was super entertained.
I love that you watch Bollywood films. It's really cool.
This was my introduction, so that's part of what made it so exciting. Wow. But the first one, the music is better, and the song and dance sequences are so good. The second one, the music isn't quite as good, but the story like makes more linear sense.
Oh, right. That's so funny.
So you take and you get, but they're both, I don't know. I just was so entertained. It's so over the top that you should definitely check it out.
Okay, I will. Thank you for that recommendation.
If you have Netflix, they're on Netflix.
Oh, I do, and I shall.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, random.
No, I love that. I love that that's a movie that you recommended to me. I think that's really cool.
Well, let me know what you think when you see it, because it is like super bloody, but it's all just like so over the top that it's not like offensive to me, at least. Like it's not like it's realistic.
Yeah. And I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I don't even know how we got here.
Because you were in truth. It's because it's me, and I do this. I have this effect on people.
The reason why
I have this effect on people, literally, I'll be on set talking to people, and a crew member will walk by, and you'll be like, "What are you talking about?" I do appreciate that Hallmark is increasing in their diversity. You know, the fact that I'm being cast is something I'm so grateful for, because you know, you need all flavors to appreciate each flavor. You know.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the reason why I wanted to have you on the podcast too, because I want to definitely encourage them to use you and people, use them more. Let's more.
Well, and from what we've seen of you, you are very talented.
Yes.
So
thank you.
Diversifying your actors just diversifies your storytelling.
Right.
I 100% agree. And the thing that I say is you can have good family values and still have diversity. They're not disconnected from each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should have diversity in with Family Values Network.
Yeah,
it just makes sense because
it just makes sense.
Like, you know,
because
people
it's so,
exist.
I just think in this day and age right now, it's so important that we come from love and not, sorry, that's a loud sound outside. We come from love and not, and more understanding and more awareness to realize that when we just know more about other people, then the whole fear factor and in this climate right now, global, once you understand something, the fear goes away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think it is really good that they are making those steps towards that, because it's, you know, we all come out as babies just loving without, you know, any understanding of what difference means. But as we get older, celebrating our differences and our different cultures just makes you it just makes the world a more interesting place. We're all meant to have our own preferences. We're all meant to come into this world and have our own thing, you know, and to celebrate that together, I think I think it's why we're all here and what it's all about.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. What is your favorite holiday to celebrate? Actually,
it is Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, I say this every time, and it's just so true. It's just so hard to compete against Christmas.
Yeah. Spending time with the family, you know, eggnog, snow. These are all things you can't beat. Yeah. Presents. Yeah. Yeah. And just family time. You know, life is so busy. It's to have that time to just spend time with loved ones. You can't beat it.
Family time, though, can be the most stressful part about Christmas.
Oh, it absolutely can. And for some people, you know, that time of year is the worst time of year for a lot of people, actually. So I say Christmas because I'm very lucky that I have a close family and there's a lot of love. I am so aware that there are families out there that do not have that opportunity for connection. So,
but at least we always have Hallmark.
You do. So. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you absolutely do. Yeah. And that's why we watch them, right? They make you feel good. They give you a sense of hope, and that's why we all watch them during Christmas holidays.
So true. I just got to watch my first Christmas in July movie last night because I couldn't sleep. I was watching this one called Charming Christmas, and I'm like, it really is so charming.
Aww, so charming. That's so nice. You're like, accurate title.
All right, and then this next one is going to be tricky, as it is for all Canadians, because they don't really have like the Hallmark channel. Favorite Hallmark movie?
Oh.
You can pick one you've been in if you want. Or one Crystal's been in.
You know, actually, thank you for saying that, because it is the first, I mean, okay, does this count if I say it's the first pilot of the Signed, Sealed, Delivered TV show?
That totally works for me.
Because that episode was incredible.
I loved it.
Yeah. Kristen in it was mind-blowing as in that episode, and Crystal and everyone. I really loved that first opening pilot for Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
Okay. I think that's a great answer.
That's a great answer.
We're proud of you.
Well,
thank you so much.
You have been a total delight, and we'll have
likewise. Thanks, guys. You guys have been a lot of fun.
We'll have to have you on for our Bollywood 2 episode.
Okay. Our review. All of us will channel it together. We'll go through the movie play by play.
Oh my gosh, it would be so fun. You guys don't even know. But
if we went through the movie play by play, that would be like 6 hours.
Right? That's true. Let's be real. It would be 12. We'd have to break it up over like a week.
We'd rather. But anyway, thank you so much for.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. And I hope the Utah weather is keeping those salt level smells at a low.
Oh no, it definitely is. It's only when it's like a weird, windy, rain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that we just smell it real bad. But anyway, yeah. But we'll look forward to seeing you in more things.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
And thank you for being you and Andrew Walker for being the bright spot of Wedding March 4.
Oh,
really had a blast watching you. And do you have social media that people can contact you, reach out to you?
Yeah, I have the classics. So I am on Twitter. Oh my God, I'm actually Googling my Twitter handle. My memory, I told you my memory is so bad. Okay, so my Twitter handle is Sandy _ Sidhu, and then my Instagram is Sandy Sid, SID. So yeah, you can catch me on both of those. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll have that in the description section if people want to follow Sandy. That would be great.
Great, thanks, guys.
And Amber, where can people find you?
As always, I'm at Amber Brainwaves on Twitter, and that's it.
Great. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and on YouTube. And thanks again. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod on Instagram and Twitter. And please put in your reviews on iTunes. We really appreciate it because it helps people find the podcast. And thanks again. And we will hopefully talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Right, bye.
Bye.